Hello, basement dwellers, degenerates, and scrufftards. Welcome to the war zone. I'm Scruffy, and this is Scruffy Tales. And we're gonna be taking a look at Tetkino, Toretsk, and Pokrovsk. At Tetkino, Ukraine is pushing in reinforcements. In Toretsk, we can see Russia aiming artillery at the center of town. And at Pokrovsk, it does appear as if Russia is hell-bent on reaching Ukrainian supply lines. Let's get into it. Right, so we're starting off with Tetkino and Andrew Perpetua's map. Here you can see on the 16th, this was updated 2 hours ago, Russian strikes at Ukrainian positions outside of Kursk and Tetkino within Ukraine. You can see here, airstrikes aimed at this forested area surrounding the railroads, and this is of course a prime entry point for the Ukrainians. Lots of cover from within Ukraine. Buildings, forested areas, and it continues straight into Kursk and the Tetkino area. So naturally, Russia will aim strikes at this location. This is where Ukraine will move in troops to reinforce their positions. This strike, as you can see here, warehouses. So I guess the Russians have kept an eye on these buildings for some time and realized that this is a supply hub of some sort. And directed airstrikes accordingly. And then you have this is interesting, a recent push by Ukraine across these fields towards the breach point that was established a week or so ago. And if we take a look at it, it's kind of interesting. We can see here, let's take a look at this one, how Ukraine is pushing across the fields. And up here you kind of have a sharp turn towards the Russian border. And then you can see it here as well, that sharp turn as the Ukrainians are pushing. And it tells us that Ukraine, they're coming down from this direction, and around here is where they sharply turn towards that breach. So I'm guessing that they are building up forces here in Iskryshevshnya and then thunder up along this dirt road here, make it around the forested area, pushes up here, and then make a push for the border. And it's basically only up here where the Russians can react to them. So drones are probably spotting the Ukrainians when they're pushing here, but in order to get attack drones in place, redirect artillery and everything, you can only strike them when they're pushing up here. The artillery is probably pre-sighted for this area, so you know, when you see the Ukrainians coming around the corner, you tell the artillery, load up, ready to fire. And then you have some hang time, 20, 30 seconds, who knows. And so you kind of try to time it, right? So you know that the Ukrainians will eventually reach this area. And then so you kind of time it with the artillery. Okay, fire. We're going to have hang time for 20 seconds. And then roughly the rounds will drop down in the area when the Ukrainians are pushing in. But as we can see on the images here, these artillery strikes are not any danger for Ukrainian vehicles. The vehicles being used are BMPs and BTRs and stuff like that. And you really need to have hits with artillery within 15 meters of armored vehicles to have an effect. This is clearly not an issue. Same thing if we take a look at this one. This is a bit closer, but I mean, you can see too far away to have an effect on the vehicle. Let's see here, if we say this says that this vehicle might be damaged, I think, destroyed, not sure. It's close and it is behind. This strike could have had an effect on that lead vehicle, but strikes over here will do nothing, and the same thing here with these strikes too far away. With Western vehicles, you really need artillery strikes to be within 10 meters of the vehicle to have an effect on the side or rear armor. Front armor will shrug it off. So a Western vehicle would have been able to push through this barrage quite happily without any issues. But what we're seeing is definitely a Ukrainian push to reinforce positions. Where they went after that, who knows, if they continue down here to reach Tetkino. I'm thinking that this forest here is probably of interest for Ukraine. Why is Ukraine not in control of this forest? It's close to the breach point. This is where you can build up defensive positions to defend the breach point and what have you. So I'm curious if Ukraine is not in control of this patch of woodlands here. It seems like the first thing after you breach the Dragon Teeth and minefields, you would push to secure this piece of terrain before moving anywhere else, right? So I don't know. I'm thinking this might be under Ukrainian control. It seems reasonable enough. But that's enough for Tetkino. We're gonna move on to Toretsk. And now we're down at Toretsk, where you have that blitz before the weekend, where Ukraine pushed into the heart of Toretsk to try and secure some high-rise buildings here, the skeletons of them. And it's been quiet for a couple of days. Ukraine was here up to the 12th and 13th, and then things has calmed down. So I've been a bit worried what is going on. But if we go back to the 15th, take a look. Russian shelling at these previously known Ukrainian positions, and we do have Ukrainian drone strikes in and around the area as well, supporting this square. So Russia shelling previous Ukrainian positions in the center of town. Either Russia is unsure if there are Ukrainians still here, or they have moved in with infantry to clear out the buildings, got shot at, and they reported back, oh yeah, we have Ukrainians still in the basements, and they're in response to that shelling the area. Whatever the case, the Russians treat this square as hostile and full of Ukrainians. At the same time, we can see Ukraine supporting this square with drone strikes in and around the area. So interesting to see how this plays out. Is Ukraine still in position in the heart of Toretsk, or has this fizzled out into nothing? I have been waiting for some decisive action from the Ukrainians since they pushed into the center. These guys, if they're still here, they need support. So Ukraine should be launching some moves either through here, which I suspected, or coming in on the flanks somewhere to reach and support these guys. Haven't really seen evidence of that yet. We have seen Ukraine taking control of this compound, but nothing big as in pushing into these buildings. Ukraine is in these buildings. As you can see, they are supporting their positions. Russia appears to have pushed in since Ukraine is launching strikes at the buildings where they usually held. Right between two massive slag heaps. If Ukraine held these, they would have cut off Russians over here. So since they did take control of these buildings between the slag heaps and took control of buildings down here, it kind of did feel as if they wanted to isolate this part of town, but nothing's happening, and that has me worried, to be perfectly honest. But we have more interesting stuff happening here in the area, namely around this mining facility. If we move over to Mayakovsk 73 and his map, zooming in, we can see here this is a Russian strike at these buildings. Apparently used an anti-tank guided missile to attack a building that was full of Ukrainians. Probably using that armor penetrating missile to guarantee a penetration through walls and to reach the interior of those buildings. But what is interesting is if this is correct, that Ukraine is pushing here, having reached these buildings, that means essentially, take a look, I mean, it's wide open fields all over the place here. And here is where Russia, a couple of days ago, began pushing into this valley. I've been talking about this valley before, how important this valley here is for Ukraine, and Russia then began moving into the valley. That was a bit worrisome. But now, if Ukraine is in these buildings and Russia is attacking these buildings, take a look. Ukraine has more or less, by pushing this way, isolated any Russians in the valley. How will Russia support their troops in the valley in these buildings if Ukraine has pushed across these fields, maybe up along this road here, and are in control of these buildings here? The Russians here are now, as of now, at this moment, cut off. That may change in the next couple of days, obviously, but, you know, for the time being, it does appear as if Ukraine has pushed in to north of this mining facility, and in so doing have cut off all the Russians that have begun to push into this vital valley north of Toretsk. So lots of things happening in Toretsk, as we can see. Moving over to the 3D map, here you go, Ukrainian push into the top of the valley. These are the buildings that Ukrainians are supposedly within, and as you can see, if Ukraine has well and truly pushed into these buildings, Russians down in the valley here, they are cut off. They are on their own until Russia can push out and take back these buildings and can effectively move troops back into the valley. Here we can also see how Ukraine has pushed into these these buildings I was talking about, between the slag heaps. Controlling these buildings essentially cuts off Russians up here if Ukraine still has a presence down here. But yeah, Russia is making moves against these buildings. So if Ukraine doesn't make a big push into this part of town, this massive assault, this blitz run, or thunder blitz, I mean, into the heart of Toretsk, it will be for nothing, and people have died needlessly. That is what it appears like, since we aren't seeing a big Ukrainian push to establish a presence in the outskirts here. I'm a bit worried about the situation, to be honest, with the troops that moved into the center of town. Ukraine needs to do something. Maybe this is the push we're waiting for. Ukraine might be trying to come in here to reach the mining facility here, and from here maybe they will try and push in to reach the center of town. Maybe. But something needs to happen, otherwise these guys here in the high-rise buildings, they're on their own and they can't hold forever. That's that. I think we're now going to move on to Pokrovsk. And we're back to Andrew's map, and well, we have this push into Sverove, more or less confirmed. Most mappers have Russia pushing up into Sverove, bypassing Pashane. We're seeing activity, Russian activity in Kotlina. If we move over to Mayakovsk 73, no, I thought maybe that was older. But we have seen, let's see if we move back on Andrew. Yeah, you can see here, Ukrainian drone strikes and Russia shelling the area. And here you go, Ukrainian drone strikes into the mining facility, factory, and Russian strikes all over. So Russia still has a presence, it seems, in this area, and the Ukraine has not fully gained control over Kotlina. But it feels as if, you can see here, Russia pushing out of Uspinivka as well. Russia has regained initiative in this Vovkova area, and pushing up into Sverove is worrisome, because that gives Russia access to this small river system, creek. It's a creek, I should say, with some vegetation surrounding it. If Russia can push up this way, they obviously come close to this vital logistical hub. You can see here how various supply lines lead into Pokrovsk. If Russia can make their way up here and reach the railroad, they do put a lot of pressure on the Ukrainian logistics coming in from the west, and that is an objective for the Russians. They want to cut as many supply lines as possible before making a move on Pokrovsk. So coming up this way and then freeing up the windbreaks here to allow them to make additional pushes north. I see that as an issue, as a problem, even if Ukraine is holding ground at Kotlina and Udachne. And we're seeing more evidence that Russia is pushing. If we move east of Myrnorod, Pokrovsk, Myrnorod, and take a look, they are pushing here east of Myrnorod, taking over smaller towns. This is happening in rather rapid fashion. Take a look. This is the 14th, 15th, 16th. So this is, Russia is on a roll in this part of the battlefield. Also coming through here through Malinivka, securing the flanks up here with that motorcycle assault a week back. into Novolenivka. This is securing the flank of the pushes here that will take Russia further north in the end towards, let's see if we can find it here. Jesus Christ. What the hell? It must be up here somewhere, and I messed this up. I am blind. What the hell is going on? Here we go. Sorry. Shakova. Sorry about that. They're heading for Shakova. And why is that? Well, let's show you. Here you have a river, and here you have bridges at Shakova. And this is where Ukraine can bring in, as you can see, supplies this way, crossing that river, crossing that bridge, and coming in north of Pokrovsk and Mirna to supply them. So Russia wants to push northwest from these positions to Shakova, and the bridge is located here because that will cut a lot of supplies. And at the same time, as you can see, if they can come up north here into this hub I've been talking about, then you cut a lot of supplies as well, and then Ukraine has only one way to bring in supplies, and that is through this main highway here, and that then becomes an easy target for Russian artillery, Russian airstrikes, and Russian drones hunting down logistics moving in this narrow corridor here just north of Pokrovsk, right? So this hub here, Shakova, this is where Russia is pushing with these units here. Straight up. Let's see how far that is. Let's see how far that is. Roughly here to, say here, 15 kilometers. That is a big push. It's going to take them forever, just like it took them forever to push south of Pokrovsk, but that is what they're aiming for. Reaching the urban belt here, I don't think that is... I mean, secondary objective coming up here in the middle gives them opportunity to push this way. But I mean, it took them 80,000 casualties at Bakhmut, 40,000 casualties at Avdiivka down here. I don't think they're going to be fighting through 3 or 4 cities and half a dozen larger towns in 2025. That's just going to strain all their resources. Their focus is Pokrovsk and Mirnorod, coming in behind, cutting as many supply lines as possible, and then focus on taking these 2 cities. You either fight in 2 cities or you fight in 3 or 4 cities and 6 large towns. I mean, which is the most easiest objective here? It is Pokrovsk and not Kramatorsk and the surrounding towns and cities. So Russia is on a move. They're pushing towards this vital objective up here, and they're beginning to try and snake their way north here, and they're going to try and encircle as much as possible Pokrovsk before making a massive big push into the town. We can also see here the logistical lines that Russia has secured. Here they pushed out from Avdiivka, Tetkino, and then headed westward. You can see the road network here to Rodivka. That was part of the logistical requirements. The other is this main highway from Donetsk to whatever that town is. That was also a requirement. And the last requirement from Donetsk to Andriivka and gaining control of this highway north to outside of Shevchenko here. So these 3 supply routes is what Russia needs to support the eventual assault on Pokrovsk. And on top of that, they want again coming in behind and cut Ukrainian supply lines. So we're nearing a point where Russia will assault Pokrovsk. And yeah, that's gonna have to be it. I hope I'll see you in the next one. As always, go på marsch Ukraine and give them hell.